Where is he? We were supposed to play some Monster Hunter today. We were gonna talk about returning to old passions and getting back in the saddle, but it looks like for now I'm the only one here. Anyways, it's normal for people to move on from things, and if I were to write down every single thing I've dropped and left in the past, I'd have a laundry list. But there's something really appealing about the past. Yeah, it's called nostalgia. There you are. Sometimes it's worth falling out with something and getting to fall in love with it all over again. We're human, and we mature with time more than anything else. The me from a few years ago isn't going to learn, adapt, or play like the me here and now, and frankly, I really just want to play the game and talk about it. Then let's boot it up. And by the time we're done, I'm hoping we're not just back up to par, but stronger than when we left. I have a lot of fond memories of this game and its high-octane take on the Monster Hunter formula. You say high-octane like we don't play one of the most stationary weapons in the game. What are you talking about? I'm sorry, did we not play Greatsword? The wide variety of monsters and the depth of customization in combat really did wonders to draw me in back then, and now I'm hoping those things can suck me right back in. I'm Moo, I'm new, and this is God Eater 3. God Eater? That wasn't on the list. Well, put it on the list. A few years ago, my friends and I got really into God Eater, and of them, I was the only one who stuck around with it to the end. I had my own experience, made my own stories, and hardened myself to pay the game back for all the fun it gave me. The certification tests. Right. 50 missions that got increasingly harder and suddenly ramped up in difficulty around the time we quit. And I was so confident that I'd breeze through all 50, only to get hard-walled by a giant chicken. In our defense, it did way more damage than we could have ever expected. And in our defense, we beat it. And the one after it, which I don't remember, it doesn't matter. It's not like we're going to fight it again anyways. We're wasting our time thinking about future goals. Our goal right now is falling back in love with the game. You make it sound like it's going to be a chore. God Eater, like any good Monster Hunter has a nice and wide variety of weapons and ways to customize your moveset. You get a melee weapon, which will be your primary form of damage, a gun for some specialized damage at longer range, and a shield which determines your defense and your ability to guard and parry. You also have your engage effect, your acceleration trigger, which gives a secondary boost to your engage effect, and a burst control unit, which helps you manage your burst in special ways. All of the weapons can be augmented in different ways, notably with burst arts, which give you special moves once you take a bite out of the monster and enter burst. Because of the game's speed and my own preference for big single hits of damage, I gravitated towards the Charge Spear for its really high damage charge stab that works wonders for breaking parts, and dedicating 2 of my arts to making the ground and aerial charges stronger since I don't really feel any neurons firing when I do Charge Spear combos. My last art of choice is Ground Zero because it's fast, effective, doesn't require anything fancier than a dash. And it's also really good at placing Briar Patch. I love Briar Patch. Because I'm dancing around nice and up close with the monsters, I prefer a shotgun as my weapon of choice, and a buckler because of the evasive nature of my weapon and my own preference for parries over protections. After a quick button check, I'm genuinely confident that we can get back into the swing of things after a hunt or two. Then we'll fight something easy. But it might be better to tackle something we're familiar with. Balmung's fast, strong, and has a good variety of range attacks. We've also fought more of these things than I like to count, and because it's an Asha origami, we get a lot of practice looking for telegraphs and... Wow, I missed this game. All it takes is the right challenge to get us back in the flow. Something easy but still threatening if we really haven't gotten back to the grips of the controls. Balmung was a good choice, and actually getting to see a hunt through reminds us about Engage and Link Burst, and it's charging again. I love this game. I want to go fight something that'll kick our asses now. No? We should work our way up slowly. You weren't going to say something crazy like we should try and beat all 50 certifications, are you? No, but we should definitely clear through 35, just to prove that we still got it. And who are we proving that to? Ourselves. Alright, sold. Let's go test the waters. Who's coming with us? Well, I'm taking my wife and daughter, no debate there, and I'm inclined to take Hugo just because he's so generally good. Then it's the same team as always. Alright. We have 2 targets this time, and they won't be here at the same time? How generous. These certification origami are on the stronger side, so stick to hit and run tactics and try not to... Not my proudest moment, but what's a Monster Hunter like if healing doesn't drop you once or twice? It's not hard, it's just not taking damage. But we're getting into a flow now. Barb has a rhythm and we're tuning into it nicely and... Oh, it's one of those quests. Is there a spear they're both weak to? Our best foot forward is trying to weather the chaos. We're still relearning the flow and some patterns, but... Through lots of trial and error, we can steadily improve. Or we can get lucky. It's leaving! We'll take one-on-one to getting ganked any day. Hey, the others aren't following. That just means I can't afford to go down. Thankfully, we broke its head when the whole team was together, and the charge spear is really good at waiting for him to throw out something like that and punishing it. Piece of cake. Happy to hear it. The others are dropping like flies. Yeah, but Lulu's holding out, and Hugo's still got a life. We can do this. It's still a Barbados, so let's just keep whiff punishing. See, a long attack like that has a window that's just as long right after. And since Ira's weak point should be on its head or back, we can... It's how active? We've still got a life, and we still have Lulu. Her engage effect gives us really high movement speed, so let's do what we can to run circles around Ira and wear it down. Kinda hard when it's constantly healing. But it's doable. We're healing too. It's strong, but it's telegraphed, and our hit and run tactics are only stronger whenever engage is up. We're fast enough to run around as projectiles and strong enough to crank out 1000+ damage hits regularly, we just have to not get hit. Dodge away from its dominant arm. This is doable. I'd hope so, we basically have endgame equipment. What matters is that we've got the right tools for the job and we're getting a better grip on gameplay. Our fundamentals are slowly coming back, so now we just have to learn the matchup. I'm pretty sure we can upgrade a bit more, but I think your approach is a lot more fun. Are we leaving the party at home? It won't be great practice if I'm sharing attention with others, and seeing as they don't get any better at fighting monsters with experience, I'm going to keep the mini training arc to myself. Field of play is nice and bright, spear still does good damage. So it might be a normal Ira and a buff Barbados on the quest. And the projectile spam is a dead zone right up next to it, which I doubt we'll ever use. Your goal is learning parry windows here, right? Especially when it comes to that tunnel attack. That can hit behind us. One life down already. But we're maintaining burst, keeping our distance, respecting his range and his dive. This is already going better. It'd be going even better if I didn't get stunned. Heal. I didn't restock, which means it's only a matter of time before that happens, and I panic. Oh wait, we have 4 lives. It stunned me again. Should we change our equipment? No, run it back. I'll get the notes. Ira's biggest strengths are its damage and momentum. It looks like most of its moves have a really high chance to stun, so instead of blocking, let's try to triple down on evasion. It has a weak spot in its back, so an aerial charge should do really good damage. He has a multi-hit advancing swipe that he does 4 times. 5 times. His long shooting move that strands him in position for attacks and can easily be avoided or parried. His charge into the active frames bomb, which we should just steer clear of. And of course, we should concentrate all our firepower on breaking his back, head, and arm. Eventually it'll enrage and we'll both start healing. We can't really out-damage it, but we're ready to fight for attrition anyways. We play hit and run until we break apart, hold it, or knock it down, in which case we spam ground 0 until... We have never been more back. Don't chase the parries, go deep on knockdowns, and respect his range. Easy. Easy. We'll take a more general use melee with higher damage and no element, and we'll take another crack at it. The rest is shedding off pretty quickly, don't you think? I try not to think and hunt at the same time. I forgot healing items again. Then retreat and come back? Nah, it'd be really cool if we didn't need them. Fight Barbarius until Ira shows up, and if he runs, we stay to fight Ira. He didn't, so we're stuck with both of them, which means we need to put Barb down as fast as possible. Bing bang boom, drop him, and now it's just us and our old pal. It's in the bag. See the active frame explosion. Avoid the active frame explosion. We only have 1 life left. Yeah, but that's fine. We're still alive, and Ira's gonna heal us. We can keep fighting, steer clear of the big ground explosion, which means it's weak, and we're sitting pretty at full. He stunned me again! Yeah, it says here we still have upgrades we can give our equipment. We'll make it snappy, I'm in a groove. We weren't able to catch Ira and stop it from going for that tiny corner of the map because we didn't remember how to dive, and now we know. We're better equipped, and while we still probably drop a stocked up Barb, Ira shouldn't be... Oh, that didn't hit me. Whatever. It's running off before Ira spawns, which means it's as good as dead. Healing items are not. You forgot them again? Get off my back. There, happy? If this is the ticket to winning, I'm gonna make fun of you for it. Oh no, you do that anyways. Take 3. Keep the burst gauge up, run when it dives, jump the swipes. I'm kinda nice with it. Our reflexes are definitely coming back. I always forget how everything in this game feels like it's made of glass, but it's not gonna get the drop on me like that again. And any stray hits I get tagged by, I can just heal off. But not if they one-shot me. Wow, I should have blocked that. Or charged out of the way. I've still got a life. Play safe. Hit and run, dump damage when you knock it down. 1 less monster. We have our practice, and we know what attacks to watch for, so we just have to play it smart. Whole lot of good smart play does when we get blindsided at every corner. We just have to block next time. It's fine. Stay at a range, attack when you find a window. Oh, what the hell. It's fine. It didn't down us, it's fine. I respond, Barb's running. Fantastic news, let's just chase it. Let's just stick it out and fight Ira. Right. One-on-one, full stocks, we've got this. Just, it followed me back. Now we know for later. The windows are tighter when there are two to deal with, but we've got the discipline. Oh, come on! We can do this. Oh yeah. Maybe it'd be a good idea to stick to the idea of learning to appreciate this game by doing something besides losing to the same monsters over and over again. You say that like we're giving up. Are we? Thought not. It's just a detour. We're still having fun. That's what we set out to do from the start. And I guess we can always just sharpen up naturally. Hey, we've never fought Tyrant. Doesn't look like it. Well, let's fix that. As a distant relative to my old nemesis Caligula, the less Hannibals in the world, the better. And fighting all these souped-up mid-tier origami is fine, but I want something that actually feels like it should be borderline one-shotting me. Hannibal's not a bad pick. And again, a monster we're comfortable with, which should give us a good foundation to push ourselves a bit harder. And a bit of diversity in the Asherot gives us some confidence that it's not just Ira who stuns us constantly. So it is all of them. Fantastic. And a high-speed powerhouse like Tyrant is good to help us balance staying on the move, putting up a strong offense, and not running out of stamina like that. Piss. 9 lives is such a good skill. Thank you, 9 lives, I love you, 9 lives. But a familiar enemy gives us an opportunity to really focus on our weapon in the matchup. We're getting better about hitting the right parts with our glides and relearning our trigger discipline. It was right there. I didn't register it. I guess it was kind of hard to see. What's important is that it didn't kill us and it was a nice change of pace. Next. Storm Anubis? We get a pretty nice shield upgrade out of it, it's a nice challenge, and we get to work on our parry reflexes. Sold. And talking about changes of pace, something big and slow sounds fantastic after slamming my head against Barb and Ira for an hour. Right, this thing's got weird timing to it. Now I know. You flinched. It's not gonna happen again. Did we get the part? We got the part. Okay, because I'm not against running it back, but I really don't want to. Understandable. Well, we got our upgrade, ready for round 5. This isn't the certification. Nope. And that makes sense. No players then, no players now, but it's fantastic that Bandai provides AI so that these missions are possible. What are you doing? Balmung, the fire one. I want a new spear and I want some harder W's. We could just go fight Caligula, our nemesis. We know that fight down to a science. We could, but this feels right. These quests are tight even with 8 hounds on the job. That 5-minute time limit really doesn't mess around, which means my parries have to be just as tight. God, I'm good at this. And we're gonna wind up performing better if we lock in our general skills and start having some fun. We're still getting minced, we're still suffering from stamina, we're still victims to shitty AI that doesn't know how to dodge, but it feels like we're playing God Eater. Which I take it means you're ready? Oh, I've been ready. You restock on healing items this time? Look, I swear I'm not doing it on purpose, but honestly, we've got this. So long as he doesn't throw that out constantly. We're not gonna overthink this, we're gonna stay with the team, and we're gonna bag these 2 one at a time. Ira's the hard one, Barb just comes down to attrition. And not getting snuck by Ira. And Ira's scarier, but just more of the same. The raining lightning bolts notwithstanding. It also has a lot tighter combos, like that. So try and be a bit more careful since I really don't want to have to hit another training arc. I'm not, we're winning. And we're getting better about dodging. Pretty sure that one just missed. We're getting better about dodging. Well, I hope so. Tight corridors didn't really go well for us last time. And Theme's down. So is Hugo. When did that happen? It's fine. It's fine. I have plenty of lives and plenty of practice. It can't have that much more health. Well, it's about to not have much health. Finally. Alright, so what sort of fresh hell are we stuck with now? Would you say we reached our goal? Yeah, probably. The first one at least. I still want to clear to 35. Or we could call it here. It's best to take these strides more as baby steps, and this might be the kind of mission we have to wind up coaxing people into playing the game and grinding through just so we can beat it. Not that I've ever done that before. I feel like of the origami we could be stuck with, these 3 aren't terrible for us. Nuada hurts, but doesn't really get rolling unless they get into burst. Balmung's one of our most practiced fights, and Dromy's just a meat stick. He'll hurt, but we can beat him with our normal hit and run tactics. I'm glad you think so. But you also put a lot more thought into this sort of thing than I do, so you must be right. Let's boogie. Looks like this mission has the decency to give them to us one at a time. No cutting corners. Nuada's the easiest of these by a wide margin thanks to its size, low speed, and most of its upper body being a weak spot. Its devour attack's pretty telegraphed, and so long as the bots steer clear, none of us get hit, we shouldn't have to worry about Nuada's burst mode. Let's just watch out for the extendo worms. The silver lining is that entering burst also gives it a second arm, which is also a massive weak point. Fights with Nuada are slugfests, but even at their worst, they tend to end pretty quickly after a few well-executed staggers and breaks. On to Balmung. Watch the charges, be ready for projectiles, aim for the face, watch out for devour attacks. With how often this thing gets enraged, I wouldn't be surprised if it clipped us and went into burst. Like that. Why do you not just dodge? Because parrying's cool. And in the case of devour attacks, I guess it does stop them in their tracks. Yeah, so long as they target me. But thankfully, even burst, Balmung's a pushover. Now for the headliner. Nuada's a cage match, and Balmung's a bullfight. But fighting Dromi is like one of those Looney Tunes skits where two characters are hitting each other with progressively heavier things until one stays down. You want to hit it in the face, but if you get near the face at the wrong time, you explode. You might want to keep your distance, but Dromi has some of the best projectile attacks in the game. And you might want to hug its ankles, but Dromi has massive AoEs and enough damage to lay you out regardless of your defense. This is going to be a brawl, especially because the weapon we brought is only strong against the first two. Its burst is probably the scariest of the three, but its devour attack is slow and obvious, if a bit hard to predict. Sometimes he'll just like to drift off from a perfectly delicious God Eater just so he can corner Lulu, whose AI backed her into a wall. It is what it is. When it comes towards us, it's like catching a pop-up. Yeah, so long as we don't have our gun out and can actually block. Now we know, and we can make sure we don't get caught with our pants down again. Where are the others? Oh. Hugo has endurance, we just can't afford to pick him up. Dromi's gotta be weak though, we just have to keep it steady, pop engage, and Hugo and I can... Good lord, the turning on that thing. Watch the arms, aim for the head, parry, parry, parry. Fight the Balmung in the tight corridor, draw it out of the tight corridor, parry the Devour attack, parry the normal attack, get hit anyways, brace for the Devour attack, watch it get burst anyways, kill the Balmung. Okay, back to Dromi. What's the plan this time? Vibes. We engage, avoid the ground attacks, get stuck on its head, get stagger locked by its roaring, watch it eat Lulu, get knocked, watch it knock the rest of the team, break its leg, watch it eat Hugo. Hugo and Lulu are out, and now we just need to break the other leg in Briar Patch, Briar Patch, Briar Patch. Piece of cake. Why was that one so much easier than the last one? Because they're relevant monsters and we weren't getting ganked. Whew, now we're cooking. I feel like a strapping young lad again. Right when we were starting to get over it, too. But we're still not done. Oh, I know. 35 is going to be some messed up boss monster. I can taste it. And I can't... Wait... God Eater 3 is a fantastic bit of fun. It's not the highest quality, but everything from its gameplay to its characters and story are all at the very least enjoyable. I for one actually genuinely like everything about it, and while the mountains it builds for players to climb aren't as steep and sheer as some of its peers in the genre, God Eater 3 makes up for it with fast action, expressive mechanics, and a formula that makes you feel just as absurdly strong as the monsters you'll eventually struggle to face. I would recommend it to anyone, but there's a very specific type of person who I know would just fall in love with this game. They know who they are, too. There's very little more intoxicating than the thought of falling back in love with something, and there aren't too many things as satisfying as the moment everything finally clicks back into place.